Hi students, in this video I'm going to talk about motivation, leadership, communication and controlling, because in the earlier video I could not complete, uh, thinking that the video was becoming too long. So now uh, motivation is defined as the force that causes an individual to behave in a specific manner. A highly motivated person works hard at a job, whereas an unmotivated person does not, which you all know. And managers have difficulty motivating employees quite often. Motivation is an internal process, and it is the result of the interaction of many factors like a person's need, his or her ability to make choices about how to meet those needs, and the environment created by management that allows these needs to be met and the choices to be made. And motivation is something that a manager motivation is not something a manager can do to a person. It is the person himself or herself who needs to motivate himself or herself to a larger extent. Uh, it is not something a manager can push, in fact. What managers can do is to try to come up with certain strategies or ways and means to help improve employees' motivation. Some of the motivation strategies can be treating people as individuals, in the sense as human beings, not as machines, and trying to understand their behaviors, beliefs, and value systems. Another way to motivate may be empowering workers, providing effective reward system, redesigning jobs, creating flexible workplace. So some of these may help in increasing or motivating employees in an organization. Empowering occurs when individuals are given autonomy, authority, trust, encouragement to accomplish tasks, and so on. So, managers need to look into this strategy and use such means to motivate employees. Empowerment must be designed to unshackle the worker and to make a job the worker's responsibility. By giving autonomy, authority, and a sense of trust, a worker may feel motivated and take the given task as his or her responsibility. Another way of motivating is to develop effective reward system. So organizations often need to reinforce employee behavior that they want to continue by providing uh, proper incentives or rewards. Another way of motivating employees is redesigning jobs. Many people go to work every day and go through the same unenthusiastic actions to perform their jobs. And these individuals often refer to this condition as burnout. In such situation, managers may come up with different strategies like increasing variety of tasks, assigning people to different jobs or tasks to different people on a temporary basis, or provide employee with more responsibility and authority. Another way of motivating employees is creating flexibility in their in the way they work. We all know that employees value personal time because of family needs. A traditional 9 to 5 workday may not work for many people, and therefore we may need to come up with such a system which will permit employees to set and control their work hours, which is called flex time. We can come up with uh, the concept of flex time, which permits employees to set and control their own work hours, and that way organizations can accommodate employees' need. Another way is job sharing. One full-time job may be split between two or more persons. So managers need to come up with a lot of creative uh, strategies to motivate employees. These are some of the strategies, but managers can come up with other innovative ideas. Now, moving on to leadership. Leadership is the process of influencing others to achieve group or organizational goals. Leaders are those individuals who, by their actions, facilitate movement of a group of people towards a common or shared goal. You may understand uh, more about the leader from this differences between managers and leaders. According to Professor Warren Bennis, managers are those who do things right, but leaders are those who do the right things, not the not doing things right, but doing the right things. In this case, uh, it means that managers are those who actually try to do try to carry out whatever works are given to them in the correct manner. But leaders are those who try to actually identify what right things needs to be done and do them. Managers are those who preserve status quo, and leaders are those who promote change. Managers have short-term perspective, whereas leaders have long-term view. Uh, Managers focus on means of doing things. That means how to get things done, whereas leaders looks at what gets done, not on what needs to be done, but what gets done, and then see whether those things are really required to be done, and if not, change bring change. Managers actually control and limit the choices of others, or subordinates or employees or members of organization, whereas leaders are those who expand people's choices. Leaders are those who try to increase people's choices and options of doing things and how they do what they do, etc. Uh, Managers focus on solving problem, whereas leaders focus on inspiring and motivating people. In other words, managers try to uh, come up with strategies to solve employees' problem, whereas leaders try to inspire and motivate employees to achieve higher goals. So now moving on to the communication. Communication is at the heart of every business activity. It is the thread that ties the actions of the individuals or organization to its desired objectives. Communication is the way that employees share feelings, thoughts, wants, needs, etc. Many studies have found that the employees and managers identifying lack of communication as the most common problem in their organization. Now, looking at the types of communication, there is formal communication and informal communication. Formal communication is associated with the formal organizational structure of an organization. Formal communications can be in the form of meetings, conferences, telephone calls, company newsletters, performance reviews, etc. Informal communication includes casual, social, and personal messages in the organization. Informal communication involve person-to-person communication network of employees that are not officially sanctioned by the organization. And organizational communication also can be classified based on the direction in which the communication is taking place in an organization. In case of downward communication, the information flows from superior to subordinate. This may be in the form of orders, instructions, policy directives to people at lower levels in the organization structure. Examples include feedback on job performance, and information about policy and procedures given to the employees at lower levels by the manager. Upward communication. In case of upward communication, information flows from subordinates to superiors. In this case, the information originates from people at lower levels and is directed to those who are above them. Examples include suggestion statements, reactions, submission of reports, and proposals. Then there is another type of communication based on the direction of flow called horizontal communication, where information flows from people who are on the same level of the organization. This type of directional communication enables people to interact with their peers without involving people at other levels of organization. Examples include communication between subordinates of one boss or between managers at same level. Horizontal communication focuses on coordination of tasks or resources. Or in other words, horizontal communication happens when uh, activities needs to be coordinated between two departments or two units. Now, moving on to controlling. Organizational control or controlling function is the process of assigning, evaluating, regulating resources on an ongoing basis to accomplish an organization's goal. In order to successfully control an organization, managers need to know what the performance standards are and also figure out how to share that information with employees. Control process consists of four key steps. Number one, establishing standards to measure performance. Then measure the actual performance and then compare the performance with the standards and finally take corrective actions. Managers can use 5 different methods to control their subordinates. One is bureaucratic, objective, normative, concerted, and self-control. In case of bureaucratic method, top-down control happens, in which managers try to influence employee behavior by rewarding or punishing employees for compliance or non-compliance with organizational policies, rules, and procedures. Most employees in many organizations feel that bureaucratic managers emphasize punishment for non-compliance much more than rewards for compliance. So this is a issue or problem with bureaucratic method. By applying well thought out rules, policies and procedures in an impartial, consistent manner to everyone in the organization, bureaucratic control is supposed to make companies more effective, efficient, and fair. Objective method is one which use observable measures of employee behavior or output to assess employee performance and influence their behavior. Whereas bureaucratic control focuses on whether policies and rules are followed, objective control focuses on observation or measurement of worker behavior or output to control. Normative method is another way to control, and the control is achieved by shaping the beliefs and values of the people who work in an organization. So in this case, a company's widely shared values and beliefs guide workers' behavior and decisions. Or in other words, workers' behavior and decisions are aligned to companies' widely shared values and beliefs. And through that, managers or organizations can control employees by making them to understand companies' widely shared values and belief systems and follow them. Concerted method is one which is based on beliefs that are shaped and negotiated by work groups. Usually, this usually arises, or this concerted method usually comes into existence when companies or organizations give autonomous work groups complete autonomy and responsibility for task completion. So in this case, autonomous groups are made to operate without managers and are held completely responsible for controlling work group processes, output, and behavior by the group themselves. So, in such case, groups may do their own hiring, firing, worker discipline, work schedules, material ordering, budget making, meeting, decision making, etc. And the last type of control method is self-control method, which is also called self-management method. It is a system in which managers and workers control their own behavior or performance. In this case, leaders and managers provide workers with clear boundaries within which they may guide and control their own goals and behaviors or performance. Uh, in many cases, under such method, leaders and managers also contribute to self-control by teaching employees the skills they need to maximize and monitor their own work effectively. In turn, individuals who manage and lead themselves establish self-control by setting their own goals, monitoring their own progress, rewarding or punishing themselves for achieving or not achieving. Okay, so with this, I stop here. Thank you.